I grew up in Boston. I lived there until I was 18. My mom is white and my dad is Chinese. I spent a lot of time growing up around my dad's side of the family. Definitely feel more closely tied with my Chinese cultural background rather than like a more Americanized upbringing.
That's cool. I'm also Chinese and white. My mom was Chinese, and my dad was white. And it's just interesting to hear you say you're closer to your Chinese family because, one would expect it was like, your white family.
My dad was born in Brookline, Massachusetts, so I'm second gen on my dad's side. My grandparents immigrated from a very small agricultural village in northern China. So they fled to Singapore first, and then they moved to Canada, and then finally settled in Massachusetts. There is a pretty flourishing Asian American population in the Boston area. So I was kind of stuck in the middle of this, like, I didn't speak the language and I had a mixed race household, so I wasn't like Chinese enough to be part of that friend group. I think as a kid, I was a little bit more white passing. I still like had lunchbox moments and like I don't know, like my family did kind of weird things. So that like the other like the white girls like thought was weird and like made fun of me for it. So I wasn't like white enough to be with them. So I was kind of stuck in the middle. I am currently attending college. I am a third year art student at University of San Francisco. So I wanted a tattoo done and it was my stomach tattoo and I had a design drawn up, but I wanted to be a little bit more fleshed out and I wanted someone to freehand some botanicals in as like a little like setting background for it. And so I was doing research on, who did good botanicals in the area and I found Mia's page and Mia does fantastic, really, really phenomenal botanicals. And so I got a tattoo from her and it was like 7 or 8 hours. So we had a lot of time to talk and I just talked about, wanting to be an apprentice and wanting to, break into tattooing and start doing that. And she was the first person that I had interacted with because I was like a shop hang around in high school. I was getting tattooed while I was in Boston. And she was the first person I interacted with that was really just like wanted to help me access resources and like wanted to help me break into this community. She ended up inviting me to shadow some appointments in her studio. And so I got to learn a lot just by observing and watching. I definitely want to be a tattoo artist. I've wanted to be a tattoo artist for a very long time.
What is your style of art?
I'm sure you know the phenomenon that when artists paint people, they always tend to resemble a little bit like yourself. I love girl pinups. I love punk girl pinups. I love girl heads are my favorite. I also like to play around with patterns and like textiles a lot in my work, specifically like Ming Dynasty porcelain patterns, taking like these very Western icons of tattooing and making them feel a little bit more personal to me and the iconography and the imagery that I feel represents my heritage.
So you said you started hanging out in shops in Boston. Like, how old were you when you first started that, and what was that experience?
So I remember I got my very first tattoo in a shop when I was 16. It was actually in Australia and they didn't ask for an
Oh,
ID.
okay.
And I just remember the like absolute feeling of euphoria after that. And I was like, this is what I want to do. It was a couple months later and I was still 16 and I saw that there was a tattoo shop opening up like a 5 minute drive from my house, like literally down the street. And I was like, okay, as soon as that is open, I'm going in. I'm gonna sweep the floor. I'm gonna answer the phone. I'm gonna do whatever. And so the second it opened, I walked in and I was like, I don't even think I had a portfolio with me. It was like I just had my phone or something.
Mhm.
And I walked in and I was like, hey, I saw you guys just open up. I live really close. Like, I love tattooing. I want to be a tattoo artist. If you need any extra help, like I can answer the phone, I can do this, I can do that. Like, I'll do anything. Like, you don't have to pay me. It's whatever. And he was this like 50-year-old, like really old school white dude. And he just looked at me and he was like, "How old are you? You don't even have any tattoos." And I was like, "I'm 16." And he was like, "You legally can't even be in this shop. Like, I don't know what to tell you." And so I was like, "Okay, well, like I really want to like be in this. Like, I want to be in this." And he was like, I just like kept bothering him, and he was like, "Okay, like you want to get into this, like how about you get a couple of your paintings together and you come and show me your work." Every couple of months I would come in with all of these new paintings that like me trying to like mimic flash paintings and stuff. He would critique them and he'd be like, you need to fix this. This doesn't look right. You need to fix that. Da da da. And I'd be like, okay. And this was I was doing these like in the middle of the night after I'd finished all my other homework and like done all that like because I was in high school at the time. So my senior year, I had turned 18 earlier that year, and I went and I got my first like larger tattoo from him. I got a peony with Chinese plum blossoms, um, and my grandmother's name on my shoulder.
Mm.
And I was like, okay, I'm 18 now. Like, where's my apprenticeship? Um, and and so I, kept asking him, and I had finally gotten him to a point where he was like, okay, how about Tuesday nights we host a painting night? You bring your stuff, you can do some flash painting, I'll give you critiques, I'll even ask like some of my tattooing buddies that work like downtown, like we'll order a pizza, it'll be a grand time, like it'll be super fun. And I was like, yes, like this is it, this is awesome. And we had gone to do one and that was mid-February of 2020. And so we had just gotten the ball rolling on that, and then everything shut down. And that kind of went kaput. And I kind of explored the shops around there, and they were just so old school, so male dominated, and like just really made me feel dumb. And I was like, this like sucks. And like considering all my different options, and I was kind of coming around to the idea that I wanted to apprentice under a female artist. Yeah, I did not like the energy in any of the shops that I explored in Santa Barbara. And then I met Mia, and I was like, okay, it's okay if I don't have an apprenticeship right now. It's not gonna go away before I turn a certain age. Like it's okay to just like be a student and like bask in that for right now.
So you have 3 tattoos, or is it more than that?
No, I have, oh God, I don't even know. I have like my arm done. So there's like wait 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10,
Can you explain the image
11.
on your arm?
So it's like a patchwork sleeve. So this girl head I got in Santa Barbara. This was just like I just wanted some flash. I got the chrysanthemum also at Golden Eagle um for Mother's Day. This tooth is a $20 Friday the 13th tattoo that I got when I was 18 in Lynn, Massachusetts. Um, this geisha with the blue ink, one of my favorites. Mia did this for me when I started getting into my Ming Dynasty porcelain exploration in my own work. This scorpion I got
Oh,
from a
yeah.
tattoo artist that works out of Korea,
Oh,
who does
cool.
only freehand, really fluid work.
So they were
Amazing.
visiting somewhere?
So I went to Korea.
Oh, wow.
I was able to do this really amazing exchange through UC Santa Cruz, where I went to Korea for a month and studied traditional relief printmaking. And I also got a couple tattoos there because I was really interested in seeing what the tattoo scene was like there because
Yes.
it's not legal.
I know.
Uh,
Yeah, I want to
yeah,
see that. And it's like
yeah,
I follow so many Korean artists. I'm so impressed with the amazing work. And then to think that it's
yeah.
illegal. So what's the scene like? Like how is it underground? There's not people.
Yeah, so it was really crazy. I was communicating with them through these like Korean chat apps,
Okay.
and
The cow talk.
I yeah, the Kakao Talk and
You
to
find them. You find
schedule
them through Instagram then?
Instagram.
Okay.
Yeah. So I got tattooed by Kiryu Park and another artist whose Instagram handle is Osang Brutal. He did my calf.
So the location is just like they don't have signage and stuff like that.
No, it was very intimidating because I mean I don't speak Korean. Trying to find these unmarked buildings in another language and like I didn't want to attract too much attention because I didn't know how strict or how like on the down low it was. And I mean I definitely stood out like
Right. And so you got 3 tattoos there?
I got two tattoos there.
Okay. What was
I got my centipede.
Oh, okay, yeah, right, right.
And the other one is on my calf.
A
I can't really
little
tell.
further up. Um, oh yeah, cool. Yeah, very nice.
Yeah. I mean, I'm definitely drawn to like the bold is bold well, style. And it was kind of unfortunate because I did want to kind of pick their brains about like
Mm,
the Korean tattooing scene and like
yes.
how underground it was, and the language barrier just did not allow for
Yeah.
that. So it was a pretty silent session, but
Yeah, I actually had a Korean tattoo artist in Australia who did my sleeves.
oh
And
wow.
um
Oh wow.
yeah,
Oh my
at
goodness.
Authentic Ink. Sue was his name. And so I had to
Uh-huh.
go there like, yeah, many times, but he didn't speak much English at all. And I definitely wanted to talk to him and stuff, so it was too bad. But I'm
Yeah.
really interested to go to Korea and to see these shops and get tattooed. I guess I should book way ahead of time for some folks too as well.
To my surprise, they had really open availability. And kind of the conclusion I came to was a lot of their clientele is abroad. The community of people who are heavily tattooed in Korea is so small.
Okay.
A lot of their notoriety comes from overseas. So they're not actually that busy, but they're very well known outside of South Korea.
So what about your future plans for tattoos? Do you plan to continue collecting?
Absolutely. So I am on the wait list for Mary Joy Scott. I'm really, really excited. I love her work. I want her to do my sternum. I'm hoping my plan is I'm infatuated with the way that she does girl heads. I think they're so beautiful, especially her like gothic Victorian ones. So I kind of want that as like the centerpiece. And then like whatever she deems will look good, like raven wings, red roses, cobwebs, like she gets full control. I'm super duper excited. Nothing else has ever spoken to me on the same wavelength that tattooing does. That's just always been like my number one.
So thinking about like queer identity, like do you have make any connections with that in either tattoo collecting or your interest in working in a shop?
I think that, coming into realizing that having a female or femme slash non-binary queer mentor is now really important to me, because I don't want a white male mentor. I hear stories about people that had that experience and how harrowing it can be being exposed to that environment of like the very traditional old school shops at a young age. I was kind of like, oh, like I can handle this. Like, I've been exposed to this for a while. Like I can handle it. I know how to like act around these guys. Like I know how to like handle this. And now that I've been exposed to kind of more perspectives, it's like I don't, I can handle it. I don't have to, though. That's not an obligation. I can find an environment where I feel like I don't have to work twice as hard to be seen at a fraction. That's not something I have to subject myself to.
Yeah, exactly. Totally. And
Hmm.
do you make any connections between your sexual identity and your tattoo collecting?
Now that I'm in San Francisco, I definitely want to get more work by queer artists. Yeah, I think I definitely want to get more queer iconography. I definitely want to get like lesbian girl heads on me. I did a sheet as a gift for my friend who lives in Arizona with her girlfriend. It was like lesbian cowboy themed, and it was so much fun to do. And so I definitely want kind of stuff like that on me.
How do you find folks?
Typically, like Instagram nowadays, I do really appreciate that. Like, if I find an artist that like looks cool, they did a cool tattoo and they posted it, and I like it. Any of my friends who are tattooers like, check this out. Like, that's definitely the primary way in which I find and connect with other artists, I would say, and especially keep in touch with other artists. After seeing everyone at the conference, made me think of tattooing in terms of community, and it was like obviously everyone wants to improve their own practice and do this and that for themselves, but also seeing all these people that really wanted to improve themselves for the benefit of the community and these marginalized groups that maybe don't know what it feels like to have a safe space in tattooing, and it becoming more important for me as an artist to, when I do start tattooing, I want to be able to create that safe space for people because I grew up in spaces where I did not feel safe. These like male dominated shops and like being told like something I said was stupid or like inaccurate. It becoming much more of a priority for me to create not only safe spaces but also like representation in my artwork, pinups and girl heads that look more like me, like that speak more to the imagery that I grew up seeing versus these very Western ideas. So that's definitely like what I aim to do in contributing to the industry.
No, that was great and really interesting and inspiring. And it's so great to talk to people at all levels of the profession. So it's really great to hear your experience. It's just really exciting to see how new folks are coming into the industry and how things are changing.
Yeah, absolutely.
The community there that we saw come together.
I mean, that event was amazing. I mean, it's honestly part of the reason why I quit my food service job because I was just like, what am I doing? Like,
Right.
there is all this potential for this
Yeah.
beautiful community and this beautiful work to be made, and I'm fucking schlepping dishes. Like,
Cool. Well, thank you so much for your time. And
thank you so much for being interested in what I have to
yeah,
say.
absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you.